Good afternoon. My name is Roy Howitt from Medland, Spain, and welcome to today's webinar, which is where we're going to look at the golf properties throughout Spain, properties that are for sale on golf courses and the advantages of buying and renting on a golf course. I've been joined by two panelists today. Jessie Wilmot, who's one of our internal sales specialists at Medland.
Hello there.
And Rich Campbell, who is the golf expert. Rich works for a company called Galaxy Golf and Galaxy Green Fees, and he'll be taking us through the courses today. For those of you who are not aware of Medland, I'll talk a little bit later about what we actually do and the sorts of properties, etc. that we offer, but I wanted to cover a couple of quick things first of all. The first one being why we're doing these webinars. I've sat through quite a few of them so far, and in fact, I've been involved in some of the broadcasts. Some of you may already know and seen me at the Place in the Sun broadcast, or even at the shows where I'm one of the experts from the hub. And many of these webinars just seem to be talking heads with a whole variety of different topics being discussed. We've gone pretty much away from that. We're going to be doing one of these webinars every weekend now coming through, where we're going to pick a particular subject for the webinar. So for example, next week we're looking at Costa Blanca South, and then new builds, and then the Costa Cálida. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. You'll notice on your screens there's a Q&A button, there's a question button. If you do want to answer any questions during the webinar, we're more than happy to answer those questions. Please avoid things like Brexit, etc. There'll be a separate session on that later on, but really focused on golf today and the results and the various facilities. Please feel free to ask the questions. We'll do as many as we can during the broadcast. Also, at the end of the broadcast, you will receive a questionnaire. We really want to know not only what you think of the particular broadcast, but also more importantly, what other topics you'd like us to cover in the future. This sort of feedback is very, very important to us. Right, with no more ado, let's get stuck in now. Let's go through the various topics and bits and pieces. We're aiming to run around about an hour today. We may overrun, we may underrun, but that's the sort of time we've allocated. And today, for those of you who don't know, this is a bank holiday weekend in Spain. On Friday, we had the National Day for Valencia. And on Monday, we have España Day. That celebrates Christopher Columbus arriving in the Americas. It's a very big day in Spain, a lesser day probably with the pandemic and what's going on. But we'll be looking there. They normally have big military parades through Madrid and various other events during the course of the day. It's a big public holiday. Right, Jessie, over to you.
Yes, hello, Roy.
How long? Hello, Jessie. We only normally see each other through this now because we don't tend to be an office-based company. So it's on broadcast and bits and pieces like this. Our technology allows us not to have to be in the office all the time, fortunately. How long have you been in Spain, Jess?
7 years now, almost.
Right, so you're still a newbie then?
Yeah, I've considered compared to some people who've been over here 25 plus years. Yeah.
Why did you come? Why did you pick this area?
Well, we just happened upon it, really. We always planned to do something like this, and when the kids grew up and went on their travels, we thought about taking a gap year ourselves. So 7 years later, here we are, and it was just chance that we ended up in this part of Spain. But we're very happy, love it.
And that's not an English accent, presumably.
No, it's an Irish accent, and even better than an Irish accent, it's a Cork accent.
Ah, but so you don't need to go through the Brexit bits and pieces, presumably the fact that you
no, it's not. It's no concern. We're EU residents anyway.
Lucky you. I mean, so I'm a resident anyway, so I've got all the necessary paperwork, and it's a fairly straightforward process anyway. I know we were going to avoid Brexit, but sometimes you can't avoid it. So what do you do at Medland? For the sake of, I know what you do at Medland, but for the sake of
just for people who know, I'm a telemarketer, where I'd be the first point of contact between when somebody makes an inquiry into the company to find out about properties and to get better understanding of locations on the Costa Blanca. So I make contact with the person and just have a good discussion with them as to what they're looking for. And the type of property, obviously, but even more important, the type of location, what sports they play, who's coming with them, what active amenities they'd like to have in the location, so that I can get a good understanding of what they're looking for to help find.
Because it's fair to say if someone's buying for relocation, it's fairly different to buying a holiday home, isn't it? And people don't often appreciate that.
Completely different, yeah, completely different. There's some locations that are really beautiful. They're beautiful all year round, but they're very, very quiet in the winter months. And if you're coming all year round, perhaps that's not an ideal situation for you to be in. You'll want a community that's active all year round. So that's what we can guide people towards.
Okay. So are you one of these annoying people who rings me up when EastEnders is just about to come on?
Probably. But I try not to. I mean, when I'm speaking with people, I try to find out from them when is the best time to call them, what works best for them. And again, we also work at the person's own pace.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not ready to buy for 12 months, then that's fine. We'll work with them to show them what's available now and just keep them informed what's coming online. It's very much the customer's wish and what they're looking for.
I think it's also important to make a point that we work a lot more with technology, using technologies like Zoom and WhatsApp and email. It isn't always necessarily to have a telephone conversation. We can very much, because of the advanced way we deliver the types of properties to people, deal with them electronically a lot as well. Yeah,
absolutely. But you do tend to get a better kind of rapport between you and a client when you have a telephone conversation. And they have an opportunity really to let you know how they feel about Spain, what exactly they're looking for, what they want in the location, and it gives us a much greater understanding, and we're able to help them in a more precise way designed for them.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is people wade through the websites, don't they, Jess? They go through and they look at the pictures and they never really get an idea of the location.
Absolutely. There's so many, yeah. And it's good, you know, from a person's point of view, it's good to build up a rapport with the telemarketers like myself and the others on the team, because when a new property comes on the system, and we can instantly think, oh, I was speaking with Daniel last week and this is the type of thing he's looking for. So immediately we'll send it over and say, have a look at this. This is in a great location for you. Whereas that, you know, we can individually choose properties to suit what a person has told us they're looking for. So and we build up the relationship with them over the time up to when they come out to, when we pass them on to you, Roy, or the other sales colleagues that are in the company.
And I think as a company, it's important to understand that we're very different in that we're salaried rather than necessarily be totally reliant upon commissioners. A lot of the agents over here are.
Yes, yeah, that's true as well. And we've a good, I mean, from the client's perspective, our website is always up to date. The prices and the availability of every property is exactly right anytime you check into it, because our IT departments make sure of that. We have the after sales team.
I'll talk about that.
Will you chat about that later?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. But
what's your? I know where you live. It's the Cabaroy area. What's your favourite location then?
I love Pilar de la Horadada. I think it's a very nice Spanish town. Still feels very, very Spanish. It's not so large, but it's big enough to have a good choice of restaurants, different styles of restaurants, nice quality. It's very close to the beach. It's easy access from the airports. In my opinion, it's an ideal location over here. And finally, you've also got a little bit of a closet golfer and knowledge-wise from the golf. One of the reasons why you're on this webinar today. Yes, I worked with Galaxy Golf, who Richard is representing today. So I worked there for 2 years, organising golf tours. Before joining Medland. I trained Richard in. Yeah, you keep saying you trained Richard. I trained Richard, yeah. Okay, Richard, over to you, young man.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Richard from Galaxy Golf. I specify in arranging everyone's golf trips. As an agent, we give the best rates with discounts on big groups, small groups. We know the latest course condition. Any questions, but always active on either email or telephone for everybody to get in touch.
And how long have you been here, Richard?
I've lived in Spain for 5 years now.
So again, another newbie comparatively. Were you working in golf before you came to Spain at all? Or is it something you've only done? No? No,
it was a complete new career change.
But you're a pretty good golfer though, aren't you, on the sly?
Yeah. Well, I try to be. I have a handicap of 5, so I think that's...
Yeah, but John says you're a bandit at that level anyway, the other guy in the
yeah, correct. Yeah.
He was telling me he thinks you're nearer scratch than you are 5, according to what he was telling me.
I speak to the missus and she lets me practice a little bit more.
So how often do you play now?
Everybody in the shop, we probably play once or twice a week. So it gives us the advantage of knowing the course condition.
Yeah. And there are something like, I think, 31 courses between the Costa Blanca and Costa Cálida at the moment. Is that right?
There is, yeah, 31.
Okay. And have you played most of them or all of them or half of them or what?
I'd say probably 80-90% of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 80-90%.
We'll come on to your favourite later on as we actually go into the courses, because the plan here is to have Richard introduce each of the courses and give a bit of information.
My favourite may change from now to the end, I'll be honest.
That's absolutely right, yeah. Okay. Right, okay, let's move on then. Let's now start looking at the properties and the areas and locations with everybody. I'll go to a shared screen now. And here we go. So, and the technology actually works, which is great. So, Richard, let's talk a little bit about the group. People understand a bit more about what a green fee company is and what a green fee company does, because it seems to be some confusion in terms of how people can book golf in Spain. I know, for example, that you can achieve some quite significant savings taking the advice from a green fee company rather than just getting on the phone to a course, to the caddy master and booking through that route. So this is the site, and you also have golf shops as well, don't you? You don't just have the green fee company, you also have shops as well.
We do. We have two shops. One located just outside of Campermore Golf Club, which is the shop that I work in. And then we have the other shop, which is located at junction 790 towards the Menor resort, actually.
So one is close to the Menor, where we're talking about properties later on, and the other one is down in between sort of the golf triangle or square these days, between Colinos and Ramblas and Campermore and Villamartin.
Correct, yes.
So what sort of rate, what sort of savings, etc., do you think that somebody could achieve by using a green fee company?
Yeah, I mean, the savings tend to be between 10 and 15% per player, which doesn't sound too much, but it soon adds up. But not just about the savings, really. As a local agent, we'll always give you course condition, whereas the companies online and the courses direct, especially, a lot of players get caught out. They won't know about course maintenance, which includes holotining. They turn up to the course, they've got no greens, they're on winter greens. Being a local agent playing the courses, we know the up-to-date information on the courses.
And you've got a decent cancellation policy as well, haven't you? I understand that, obviously.
48-hour cancellation policy, correct. And then all cancellations that we did during lockdown, we gave full refunds for. I know a lot of companies, small and large, kept deposits, charged cancellation fees. We gave full refunds to all our clients.
Okay. And presumably, if you find a course is out of sorts prior to play, you go back to them and say, oh, by the way, perhaps you should be changing now or moving now.
Correct, yeah. We send an email probably 5-6 days before people's trip. We give them the latest information on the course conditions. And sometimes if we played a course that weekend and they haven't got it on their itinerary, we'll probably recommend it. Right. And say we advise you to change from one course to another. And a lot of them will do because they put the trust in us being a local agent. Yeah,
I mean, so you obviously achieve your money out of volume. You're booking, I don't know how many green fees these days, but you're probably booking so many green fees across. And they can book what? They can book online or via phone or shop or a combination of those?
Yeah, we have the website that a lot of inquiries come through. But to be fair, most of our clients are repeat customers. So they tend to just send us an email direct, let us know the dates of play, times, courses, number of players, and if they require buggies. And we also offer club hire as well.
Okay. So just about everything. I mean, I know that you had this deal on 3 for 2 on the clothing. Sorry, yeah, 3 for 2 on the clothing or 2 for 1 on the clothing. I can never remember.
Yeah, it was 3 for 2. We've just stopped this week.
Oh no!
We've actually brought all our prices down to run alongside our new website that'll be launched very soon. So we've actually brought the prices down, which works out about the same as what the 3 for 2 would be.
Right, let's move on now and have a look at some of the courses and some of the properties then. Thanks for that, mate. I mean, that's very clear in terms of what you do. And as I say, you can see on the website there, you've got information on the rates. You've also got a news feed there, but also broken down by areas. And the areas we're focused on today is going to be Alicante, particularly Costa Blanca South, which is south of the Alicante airport, coming down to the border of Murcia. And we've got 2 courses in Murcia and 2 courses in the Alicante region that we're going to be looking at. Let's get going. Okay. It's interesting that there's a lot of interest in obviously buying on golf courses. And one of the main reasons of that is the fact that they often represent a very good investment. But it's more than that. It's the lifestyle, it's the facilities, it's security. There's a whole range of reasons why people are looking at golf course. And more recently, with some of the new pricing that's come through, where some of the banks have released the original bank properties, which are still new, which are still in a position where nobody has ever lived in. We're now talking about some frontline golf properties for a one bedroom on some of the developments starting out at 45,000 euros. One of the other aspects, of course, is the social life, is like-minded people. Golfers like, obviously, to join in and play golf with golfers. That's how you improve. If you play a better quality player, you suddenly discover your own game improves. And of course, the social aspect of the golf as well, I'm sure, can't be ignored. But yeah, we're going to run through some of the courses, as I say, and some of the properties and pricing. If there are any questions equally on investment, we can talk about yields, we can talk about running costs. We're very used to dealing with investors in addition to people buying for their own use. Starting out a bit about Medland, we started back in 2013 by a guy called Richard Hart. Richard is of Scottish and Spanish descent. His father was Scottish, his mother was Spanish. And over that period, we pretty much become the #1 new build specialist, covering the Costa Blanca and Costa Cálida. We're not a little company by any means. We have 2 offices, one close to Torrevieja and the other one in Benissa, 46 staff, and we actually deal with 11 different countries currently, with 11 different sets of languages and multinational staff. During the pandemic, we've noticed that there's been a large number of agents that have obviously disappeared because of the revenues and the properties, etc. We're very lucky because we're in a new build market. A lot of our completions are in the future, so we'll certainly survive this sort of thing. But it's also very important to notice and emphasize the fact that we do a complete service, including after sales. So we have a separate team of individuals whose responsibility is, once you bought the property, is to deliver you that property. And if you want to buy furniture or have items fitted, etc., that's what that team is responsible for. In the 350 kilometers that we cover, both inland and coastal, we've got something in excess of 700 new build developments. And this just emphasizes the area we cover, which is the Costa Blanca south, Costa Blanca north, and the area down as far as Aguilas, which is going south to the other side of Murcia. Not the Costa del Sol as an area, so emphasize that again. And over that coastal sign, all the green dots that you can see on the screen here are the golf courses, and as Rich mentioned earlier on, there are 31 courses. Strangely enough, 8 in the south, 8 in the north, and 15 in the growing area of the Costa Cálida and Murcia. We're not including in that number some 9-hole courses and pitch and putt courses that exist. There are a few more, about 3 or 4 altogether, these smaller courses. They're not part of the green fee package, and they are more pitch and putt. So the first course we're going to look at is La Finca. Rich, tell us about La Finca. What's good? What's bad? Why do people like it?
It's a great course. It's managed by Quara Group that also manage Villamartin and Las Ramblas. It's a par 72. Fantastic course. The condition all year round is brilliant. Recently, they just invested quite a lot of money into relaying the greens. The second cut of the greens also this year got done, which doesn't sound that big of a job, but it really needs doing. I played there on Friday. The condition was spectacular. The greens, probably the fastest I played on them. Really some pretty lakes, some of the views at the top of the course as well, looking down the course, unbelievable. They have the clubhouse, which overlooks the 18th green. At the top of the hill, you can see a full panoramic of the golf course as well.
And you can see on the screen there, you've got some reasonable savings there. Twilight still tends to be one of the best times play-wise, doesn't it, in terms of the green fees?
Correct, yeah. Twilight brings the price down a lot. It really does. For example, in the daytime at the moment, I think it's €86 walking, and then the twilight is 64. The twilight time at La Finca has just changed as well. It was 3:30. They've brought it forward to 3 o'clock to give you more chance of getting 18 holes in.
Okay, golf season wise, when is the, we talk about one of the biggest advantages is the season sometime with rentals as far as golf is concerned, because you get a much longer season. When is the golf season typically? When do we peak? When are we mid-season as far as the rates?
So unlike the summer, where you get your rental properties a short period. With the golfers, you have from February running through till May, and normally around May, June, the courses tend to do their maintenance, and reopened again for high season, which is September through to November.
Okay, so what about 30, how many weeks roughly of golf do you estimate?
Yeah, about 30 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I made it as well. I just wanted to double check you.
Yeah, for
Big
high
advantage,
season.
a big advantage if you can find a property that is within close proximity of a beach, and we have some today that we'll be talking about, then obviously you can do both. You can do both the golf season and also rent it out for the summer season as well, increasing your income potential quite dramatically. Oops. So
What I would say though, recently, for the past couple of years, we seem to be getting a lot more golfers coming up for summer because it's low season for the golf. So they get the golf at the cheaper rates again, even though it's obviously very hot. If you go at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you can beat the heat.
This is where La Finca is located. It is inland, approximately 32 kilometers from Alicante Airport, and around about 12 kilometers from the beaches of Guatemala, which are some of the finest beaches actually along the Costa Blanca. Fairly easy to get to. We have both taxis and obviously private hire type vehicles, etc. into La Finca. It is advisable if you're on La Finca to have your own car because public transport in that particular area is not particularly good. We have a range of properties on La Finca. The one we're going to feature today is our 3-bedroom villa, which has an option of a pool and an underbuild starting at 245,000. We have 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments, townhouses and detached villas on this particular development. A range of prices, a range of options, but today I'm going to walk you through the first one, which is a 3-bedroom semi-detached villa, which is the left-hand corner picture. I won't put the bingy bongy music on that we do. By the way, all of these videos, etc., are available on YouTube. We have our own channel on YouTube where this is all our own photography, including the drone shots. Now, you can see La Finca is a fairly large development nestled in amongst the mountains. And the area above, in front of there, is actually where they still have planning for a second course. We're not going to say they're going to build that second course in any time, this area here. Reasonable, but there is planning there. At the moment, it's a very good 18-hole course. And you can see from the drone shots here, we're coming down and into the particular villa. This villa is large in terms of internal space because it does have the option to say on a complete underbuild with its own private entrance, where you can literally use it as another apartment. On this development also, there is a community swimming pool as well. So if you didn't want a private pool, you can also have a community swimming pool available. With all the new properties, what we're looking at here is the proper use of space, the open planning of the property itself, the light, the double height windows that you can see on this one. And the other biggest change on a new build property over the older style properties is the insulation. Because nowadays what we have in these properties is we have very high, what they call EPC standards, which are energy performance certification. In actual fact, there will be a B with things like thermoblock windows and aerothermic type water heating and the higher levels of noise and sound insulation compared to the older properties. By the way, in case anybody wonders, this is actually full-size furniture. It's not stuff they scaled down like they used to do in the old days in the show houses. This is the actually real furniture. And with us, you can buy just literally the property, or you can work with us and we can do it fully furnished, including everything. Literally, you turn up with your suitcases. And this is the underbuild, which is really spectacular. The biggest difference on underbuilds nowadays compared to the older basements is they do put in windows and lighting and patio doors and entrances. It's no longer the dungeon that I would remember when I was a child. I need to say that carefully. That was a basement. So yeah, these are our proper serviced underbuilds. They're always cooler during the day as well because they have a natural temperature regulation. You can see they're a proper entrance into the underbuild. So this actually would come out with the underbuild to potentially a 5-bedroom property, or we also know some people that have used the underbuild here for a separate apartment for rental purposes. they use the main body of the house, and then they have a second apartment downstairs. One thing I would say about golfing and about golfing investment is always remember to furnish the property for golfing parties. Simple things like beds in the bedrooms in terms of a double bed or single beds. If you have a 4-ball coming over to play golf, typical men don't want to share the beds, therefore put single beds in that push together for family holidays. Invest a little bit more money. One of the most important aspects is the furniture. As we come out of the property, the Finca has a 5-star hotel on the resort itself. It has a range of commercial facilities, bars, restaurants. That's the shot of the hotel there, which has a spa. As with most golf courses in Spain, the practice areas are public. You can go on to a Spanish golf course. You can go buy your bucket of balls, and you can go and use, as you can see there, the pitching areas and the chipping areas and the driving ranges, completely free of charge. And then a fantastic clubhouse looking out over the main course. That's the pool for the hotel. You see and you can see the hotel sitting there. It is a resort. It isn't just a golf course. It is a resort where it has a range of facilities. Now that's the property on the Finca. Okay. Next, we're going to move to what is probably classed as the Rolls-Royce course of the area, Los Colinos. Los Colinos is, without any doubt, I think, the best course in the area. It has the advantage of not just having a golf course, but also having the beach club as well available to people. Rich, Colinos.
So they go by the slogan of a world apart, and it really is a world apart. The setup is brilliant. Upon arrival at the course, you get your range balls included in your green fee. The course is so good. It really is probably the best course in the area. They host the qualifying school stage 2 of the European Tour, which is a really prestigious level to be playing at. To host that is not many courses can say that they host that. It opened in 2010, so it's been 10 years open now. It's got real mature tree line fairways. The conditions just great, and the deals that they're doing at the moment, they're doing the best deal, better than any other deal in the area. They really are. You can play here Twilight for €45, and Buggy's only 25. This is the best deal that we can offer as a green fee.
Okay. The only thing I would make in terms of Los Colinos is the pricing of properties there are a premium price as well. It is, and you'll see in a second when we run the video. Los Colinos again is basically only 7 kilometers from the beaches around Orihuela Costa, 45 kilometers roughly from Alicante Airport, and about 70 kilometers from the new Murcia International. Within a 10-minute drive there, you're into the Villa Martin area. So around Colinos, there are actually 4 more golf courses, if I include Vista Bay, in the immediate vicinity, which is in San Miguel. So you are in what I would call sort of the golf course Bermuda Triangle there. The men go out and play golf there, they're going to disappear. The number and choice of golf courses there. And this is the closest, one of the closest courses to the Galaxy Golf offices. As I mentioned earlier on, they don't just have the course in Campoamor, they also have their own beach club, which is a special rate club for people that own on a particular golf course. So here you can see the difference in pricing. We're talking about apartments, new build apartments starting at €240,000 minimum, going through to well over $500,000. Villas literally from 400,000 minimum to millions. And the biggest difference there is they'll also sell land and build bespoke villas. The one down here on the right is just about 3.2 million with indoor and outdoor pool. It's a real villa that you can visit. It's a real villa on the site. It's like artist's impressions. It's a real luxury resort. The video I have here is actually about the resort itself. So I'm going to let the commentary run through as well as the video itself, because it talks about the Nature Conservancy and the nature of the course itself. No interruption from me. And then. Oh, okay. I've just been told for some reason you've got no audio. So apologies for that. It's off mute. I don't know why it's not playing. Yeah, I think you get a good idea there of Colinos itself. We will make the video available separately after the broadcast because I understand there was some form of problem, but this is our first webinar, so we're going to have a little glitch potentially. Jessie, have you ever played Colinos?
I did. I played Colinos about 3 times. When I worked with Galaxy Golf, we got occasional invitations to play there. I found it very challenging. You want to be a really long hitter. It's fine for Richard, not so fine for me. But a nice course. Okay,
I may say very nice properties as well as far as the choice of property goes on there. It's one that is it is a course that's very, very attractive. A lot of the course stuff that we see on there is Scandinavians, etc., that tend to buy on Los Colinos. I've got a query here from Andy Wood, and Andy's asking about taxes and buying on properties. He's seen properties at 100,000 euros. Yes, Andy, we're going to be showing the next one, fun enough, is going to be a property at less than 100,000 euros. If you're buying any property in Spain, depending on whether it's a new property or a second-hand property, will vary the buying fees. But if you allow between 11 and 14% on top of the price, that will cover all of your buying fees. And that's pretty much across the board, as I say. If you're buying a new property or a second-hand property, the buying fees are very similar. And as I say, we're now going to look at some properties on another golf course, which is Hacienda de Alamo, which come in starting at 54,000 euros. Rich, Hacienda de Alamo, talk to me about the course.
Yeah, Jesse said that Las Colinas was a long course. This is a long course. It really is a long course. Majority of the par threes are maybe 200-yard carry over water off the whites. It's a real long course. The condition of it all year round is great. It's got the grass that suits the cold weather in the winter, and in the summer they don't really need to cut it that much. They don't have to overwater it. Again, I think it may be stage 1 qualifying school of the European Tour. It's just a long course.
They got one or two courses there, Rich, because didn't they have a 9-hole as well at one time?
They've got a 6-hole course actually, just located next to the Thomas Johansson Golf Academy.
Yeah, that's the practice course. I take them out.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean Thomas does lessons on there. I think it's €50 for individual 6 holes. It's great for beginners because Alamo is a tough course. So for beginners that want to travel and take up the sport, it's great to go on there just to get a bit of a feel, really.
And they've got other facilities. They've got the tennis club. They've also got a bowls club on there as well, by the way. It was there the other day.
They have on the right hand side of the entrance.
Yeah, as you come in. So it's not just, as I say, in the bars and restaurants. There was a hotel down there which is now closed, but is planning to reopen, by the way. And there's also a spa and a sports facility that they're opening again fairly soon. Like most of the areas, they have been obviously hit by the pandemic and the reduced number of people playing. But the properties we're looking at here are exceptionally good value for money. They are properties that were previously owned by the bank, and the bank have now released them at very, very attractive prices, as we'll come to in a second. The course is more inland, as you see in a second if we look at the location. Here we're looking at very much more the course being in Murcia itself. So if we're coming from Alicante Airport, it's just over 100 kilometres, but it's also very, very close to the new airport at Corvera on Murcia International. Less than 30 kilometres, less than a sort of 15, 20-minute drive. So it's very practical in terms of weekend breaks if you're coming into Murcia International. Again, it's another course, although it does have supermarkets and bars and restaurants. We would always advise, ideally, having a car if you're visiting that particular resort. And it's certainly not coastal like all the rest of the developments we're looking at. Here you're looking at a 17-kilometre run to the beaches with a choice of two areas. Either you come down to Los Alcázares and the Mar Menor, which is the lake or the inland salt area that you see there, which I'm highlighting. Or alternatively, you go to the beaches of Matharon as well. There are also membership schemes available on this course and also the next course we're going to look at, which is going to be the one in the Mar Menor. But you can see that certainly Hacienda de Alamo really does have a resort facility to it with the variety of bars and restaurants and shops. And in fact, we have 3 different areas within the development itself. These are all properties that are more than 10 years old but have never been lived in. So they are properties that have come back from the bank and they're now being resold via the bank at very, very attractive prices. The feature property, the one we're going to go to on the video, and it's our own video again, is a 2-bed, 2-bath in what we call Pueblo Español. Pueblo Español is an area that's been built with bars, with restaurants. It's still building up. It now has a community swimming pool, which it didn't have previously. Second area is Los Olivios. And Los Olivios is just on the gate as you come in on the right-hand side by the bowls club and the tennis court. And the third area is at the Oasis. The Oasis, many of the apartments there, apart from a very large and attractive communal area, also have things like plunge pools built into the properties. We've got a special deal also down there with the bank, and that is we offer the first year's community fees paid by the bank in conjunction with Medland. There are no community fees to pay, and the completion fees of this development will be between 12 and 13% on top of the prices. So let's run the video. And again, this is our own video, which I'll walk through. So these are the video shots coming in. As I say, this is an inland golf resort, and you can see the size, and also because this is a current video, the condition currently of the course. Because it's playing pretty well at the moment as well, isn't it, Raj? The Alamo?
Sorry, I was just replying to a message.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
At the moment, yeah, it's great. It's in really good condition. As I said, it's just got through summer. All maintenance has been done, so the course is sat there, just ready to go.
This is the Pueblo. This is the village. So this is coming into the particular 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. One of the major things they did last year was they built a community swimming pool for the Pueblo. One of the problems with the Pueblo was it didn't have any communal pool. It now has a pool. And this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom property, which was built more than 10 years ago. You wouldn't believe it from the condition and the general makeup and the size of these properties. These are large properties comparatively in the current market. These properties are delivered with white goods. They're delivered with a fridge, freezer, washing machine, dishwasher, hob, oven, and air conditioning, all included in the price. Again, there's a reasonable amount of outside space, and the only thing that has been done on this property is the lighting and the furniture. Because when you buy the property, you need, additionally, obviously, you need to add your fixtures and your fittings, as I say. They also come complete with shower screens, so they're fully finished bathrooms, they are fully finished kitchens, and they are built to an exceptionally high standard. Even on the Pueblo, all the properties have a working fireplace, as you can see from the video. I think what's happened, which is different down here now, is that if you look at the way the Spanish system was working with repossessions, Sarad, who were the bank that was handling those repossessions, were pretty much sitting on the properties until they'd reached a level where they could then afford to release them and sell them. And this has only happened fairly recently. Also in these properties, by the way, they have a bath in each bathroom, a spa bath in the master bathroom, and a bidet as well. You can sort of signifies a sort of age of the properties in terms of the time they were built, because nowadays they just don't build these properties with bidets. Nowadays in a modern property, you don't tend to get a bidet. And a bath in a modern property nowadays in one of the new builds is an extra. The community fees on this property, we're not going to hide them, is going to be between 100 and 130 euros per month. That's your community fee. And the only other fees you have are your IBI, or your council tax. And that is in the region of 220 euros a year on this particular resort. Not 220 euros a month, 220 euros a year. It's not really a desert course though, is it, Rick? It is a, you know, it's not a links course on a desert course. It's just a straightforward golf course.
Yeah, I mean, it's not parkland. So Las Colinos is a traditional parkland course, whereas Hacienda Alamo just tends to have a lot of wasteland between the fairways. But I like it, to be fair, because you don't really lose a ball. So you can hit the ball as hard as you like, and it's going to be safe.
Oh, it's quite a course for a high handicapper. Then they can live on at the end of the day, I presumably, if you're a high handicapper.
For sure, yeah, for sure. The ball rolls far. It's a good course.
Isn't there also the dual driving range on there as well? And they've got two-story driving range still on Hacienda?
No, just the one.
Oh, just a single story. I don't know why. I thought the top level to the course there. And this is, let's say, these are very current shots. We literally shot this video last week, so it does truly reflect the condition of the course. Very popular with societies as well, isn't it? There are a lot of trips out down to this one. I know the various golf societies tend to play it.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
So that's at the end of the Alamo. And as I said before, we have properties there starting at, for a one bedroom, 55,000 euros plus the buying fees. Okay, let's move on to the last course of the day, which is going to be the Menor. Rich, Menor, one of the original Polaris World Group courses, I seem to remember. In fact, the first one they opened.
It was the first Polaris, correct. Originally opened as a 9-hole course and recently changed to 18. This is great resort for high handicappers or beginners. It's quite a short course and really forgiving. Again, the same owners or management company as what Hacienda Alamo is, which is a company called U-Golf. They also have the Thomas Johansson Academy here. So if you want to take up the opportunity to have some lessons here, they do residential rates. So as a resident, you'll get reduced rates on lessons there.
Okay. This, in terms of this particular course, it is fair to say, without hiding the fact, that it's not in the best condition out of the courses we're looking at the moment.
No, I mean, at the moment, it's in terrible condition. U-Golf won't shy away from that. The good thing is, personally, that I like to see is that they're trying to fix it. They're not going to give up on it. They're going to get it back into good condition, ready for the next high season, which will be later on in the year.
Well, they do offer a membership where you can play at the end of the Alamo and another course, which I think was originally called Terrazas de la Torre, and it's now called Las Sarinas. Is that right, in Murcia?
Sarinas, yeah. I think Stuart asked a question about that. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Roy, about the membership, but it won't be full membership. But I think there's a deal.
No, we'll come to that in a second. Funny enough, Stuart, one of the offers we have when we looked at the property on Menor is actually a membership scheme for 3 courses, including this one at the end of the Alamo and Las Sarinas, where you can play at a very much discounted rate for any of those 3 courses. I think something like €9 if with the membership scheme, which we're including with the apartments, by the way. And that is an offer again, which is exclusive to us at the moment. Right, so let's show you again the video. Location-wise, just to finish off in the same way, the Menor Golf Resort is in good, reasonable proximity to the bay and the beaches of Los Alcázares. In actual fact, it's something like 6 kilometers to go from the course itself down to the beach. The Menor also has probably more facilities on the course and close to the course around a thing called the Boulevard than any other course that we've looked at today. There's a big range of bars and restaurants and facilities. There's a mini golf course that was featured recently on a Channel 4 TV program, Living in the Sun, built there. There's lots of facilities around the course itself, and also including the hotel. Airport-wise, you are 17 kilometres roughly away from the Corvair International, and about, again, 100 kilometres, 95 kilometres more specific, from Alicante straight down the motorway. And here you do have an advantage of having some very good public transport infrastructure, which does service the course itself. So again, it's easier to use this course without necessarily having your own transport. They also run hopper buses between the courses as well in peak season. So they can take you within the environment there, within working with the golf there, to the various courses that they manage as well, if you're playing at different courses. The particular properties we're going to look at here, the ones that have been released, are what they call the Melvins. So there you can see specifically the apartments, all built around very good communal areas. And you have here golf, frontline golf and pool facing, depending on the orientation, which does affect the pricing. Property we're featuring is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2nd floor, golf facing property at €110,000. And the other difference here is the closing costs for these properties are far less, because although they're new and they've never been lived in, they are still classed as second-hand properties for purchasers. Therefore, the property transfer tax reduces to 8%. So you can be looking here at near a 10% overall for all of your closing costs. They are a real bargain. These properties are particularly, it's really because we're not seeing the volume of people that are coming over to view these, that they're not moving much faster than they will do. We have 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartments starting at 59.9, but these apartments are 65 square meters. All of these properties, as you'll see from the video, are big apartments with reasonable outside space. And the 3-bed, 2-bath at 159.9. And all of the properties include underground parking in the price. Community-wise, here you'll pay between 100 and 130 euros a month, the community fees, and again, your IBI or your council tax around about 240 euros a year. You're pretty much on par, using the golf expression, with the ones that are on at the end of the hour. This again is a current video. We shot this video last week, so it does show the course condition very well. Watch this space also from the same banking group. Over the next few weeks, we'll also have some properties on Los Serenos, on Terrazas de la Torre available as well. Don't have all the details yet, but it'll be a similar sort of scheme as this one. But these are our drone shots literally from last week. And Rich, it's fair to say it's looking a bit brown at the moment, around places.
Yeah, a bit shabby around the edges for sure. But as I said, the good thing is that they're trying to improve it.
I think the nice thing is the lakes as well, because they're not paying as much on irrigation, are they? Because they do have the natural lakes where they collect the waters.
They certainly do. And the properties are overlooking hole 13, 14, 15, which are the feature holes. Apart from the 18th. The 18th overlooks the hotel. You actually play into the green with the pool of the hotel behind the green. It's a great finishing hole.
So this is the 2-bedroom layout. You've got the breakfast bar on the right with the kitchen. Now these are supplied with the oven, hob, extractor and air conditioning in the price. The air conditioning units will need servicing, and they will be serviced by the buyer. They're not serviced by the seller. They will need servicing because obviously these properties again are a number of years old and they've never been lived in. What they have done, however, is they have refurbished every single property, repainted, any repairs, etc. So they are in exceptionally good condition when buyers come to look at these properties. They're not dated. I mean, say, to be really honest with you, they haven't dated at all badly. The general appearance, the classic appearance of the blocks works very well with these particular properties. And they are large apartments, so hopefully you can see from the images here. Big bedrooms, big lounge, nice outside space. Very, very good rental properties, potentially. This is a resort where rentals do go exceptionally well, and you're not price fighting all the time, because the majority of properties on the Menor are villas. It tends to be the main rental pattern here. But it does mean you can walk to everything and there are enough facilities on the course itself for golfers not to have to necessarily drive all the time. And this is the view. So this is the second floor one that we're actually showing, and this is a frontline golf one. Looking onto which tee did we say, Richard? On these ones?
That's overlooking the 15th tee, that is.
15th. Yeah.
Par 4, dogleg left. Nice.
Now this is the communal areas, and they are spectacular. I have to say, considering the course maintenance, the actual maintenance of the community areas, and the bather ratio is not bad on these. You've not got hundreds of apartments trying to share single pools. And as we overfly the main course, you can see the lake and then the bulk of the apartments that are for sale wrapping around the lake. The resort itself, I'll show you some facilities here, as I mentioned earlier on, has just about everything that people will be looking for in terms of a break. That's the Intercontinental Hotel, which is still open, by the way. We've got bars and restaurants here that are still open, and then the boulevard across the front. Well, he hooked that one, didn't he?
Wasn't great, was it?
Was it? That wasn't. I don't know why I took that shot. That wasn't a great shot at all.
Should have phoned me, Roy.
Yeah, you could have done some filming. So that's the Menor, and the Menor Golf Resort. And as I mentioned earlier on, there we're talking about apartments starting at €59,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. Now let's move on. Now, the special offer that we've managed to negotiate at this particular development is that it includes 3 years golf membership for 2 people on properties purchased before December 2020. And if you're playing the other 2 courses, Hacienda de Alamo and Las Serenas, I believe the rates are €9, didn't we say? To play those particular courses with a membership. So, finding out more, how can we help you? What can you look at? I think the first thing is to look at our website. We don't just have properties on those particular golf resorts. We also have, as I mentioned earlier on, 750 properties throughout 350 kilometers of Costa Blanca, Costa Cálida, and going down as far in Murcia as Aguilas. Our website is very, very easy to use. You can search by area, you can search by budget, you can search by type, just about everything. You can subscribe to our newsletter there as well. There's lots and lots of information on the website. You can chat to somebody online as well through the website. You can contact us via the old-fashioned method, telephone. We have direct contact numbers on the website that will connect you through to one of our internal people. Email, WhatsApp, and you can book individual Zoom meetings with me or any members of the team. The other alternative is we can do an individual property search for you. Come to us and tell us what your budget is, what your area is, what the requirement is, and we can then come back to you with a list of suitable properties. We're also now in the pandemic days doing more virtual tours. If, for example, you saw a property today on the Menor or on the Hacienda de Alamo or any of the courses, we can do a one-to-one virtual tour with you. Where we can take you through the properties and show you the available options. And on all of the properties today, we also have what they call 360 tours that walk you through the property. Within a certain budget, etc., we do also offer the £99 viewing trips, which is 3 nights, including hotel and flights. They do not, however, qualify for the golf properties, which are the ones that are coming back from the bank. So properties on Menor and on Hacienda de Alamo, they don't qualify under the viewing trip scheme. We're not going to hide that fact from you. And more webinars coming up. Next weekend on the Saturday, I'm being joined by David and Jesse Hayes, and we're talking about the Costa Blanca area, the areas, the types, the infrastructure, the beaches, the restaurants, using a qualified tour operator for this area. On the 25th, which is a Sunday, we're doing new build versus resales, and we're looking at the mortgage options that are available on both those styles of properties. And the final one is the Costa Cálida, and that's the one on the 31st. But again, after that, through November and December, we will be holding a webinar every weekend on a Saturday and a Sunday. We want your feedback. As I say, if there is a particular topic that you would like us to cover, please let us know and we'll look at that particular topic for you. And of course, our contact details. All of us are available via email, by phone, by Zoom. I mentioned earlier on WhatsApp. That's the information. We're also recording this broadcast as well, so that if you have any friends or anybody else you feel might be interested, please let them know about the content of the webinar itself. And again, more than happy to answer any queries and questions after the webinar itself. We'll lose the presentation. Now, we've got a few questions here, I believe. Let's just have a look through. I've got a question for you, and that's to do with handicap certificates, Rich. Do we need them in the area?
We don't know. A lot of the courses, well, the courses actually don't request this anymore. Back in the day, they used to, but now they're a lot more lenient when it comes to handicap certificates.
So I could get me bats out then, not being a golfer, and go and hack around a course, could I?
Of course you can. Make sure you repair your pitch marks and leave the course in a good condition for the next person.
I don't think you'd appreciate that very much. My son tried to teach me to play golf. He's a very low handicapper, as you know, because you know him, and he said I had to swing like a barrel of frogs. Interesting question here, and that's tee times. Gentleman has asked about the tee times on the Menor. Given the number of properties there, how easy is it to book golf on them?
Yeah, it's not actually that busy. On Fridays, they have a lot of members that play. They call it the Friday Frolic. I said to him, I think it was Andy, I said it's a great way to meet fellow golfers, new friends. I know that they stay behind for a few drinks afterwards in the clubhouse, so really good way to meet new people.
Yeah, I think also if you join a society, I know that a lot of people come to Spain, join a society as well, because some of the ways of meeting new people, I mentioned earlier on in the reasons to buy on a golf course, a lot of it is around the fact that you do meet like-minded people.
Exactly.
Jesse, I know we don't just, question for you, I know we don't just sell on the courses, but very often we get asked for people that want to buy away from the golf courses, but in the same sort of area. Are you aware that we've got many properties that sort of meet that criteria around sort of Villamartin and Cabaroy and that sort of area?
We do, and for some people, when they have a partner who doesn't golf and they have maybe younger children, they prefer to live in an area where they have more amenities and travel to their golf, because at the end of the day, it only takes 5-10 minutes to travel to 4 or 5 golf courses. So they choose to live in an area like Villamartin, Los Alcázares, Pilar de la Horadada, and they're within reach then of a choice of excellent golf courses.
And of course, I would imagine they'd pay less. I think you do pay slightly more being on a golf course in terms of community fees.
Generally, yeah. Generally, you'd be looking at community fees of 40 to 60 euros per month on the other properties.
So a big difference in being on the course.
Quite a big difference. Yes, quite a big difference.
And renting them out. And, you know, both styles of properties rent well in the area, do we know?
Yeah, there's excellent rental potential here. There's not enough new build properties available for demand at the moment. So, and new build properties will rent out a lot faster than an older property. So because you've golfers and the sun tourists, it's almost 10 months, 10, 11 months of the year possibility of renting.
But I think the new build, the more contemporary modern design type properties tend to attract a higher yield in terms of the amount of money you can charge, and a different market. I understand from working with colleagues who are from Sweden and Norway and the various other Scandinavian countries, their first port of call normally is to go for the modern open plan type developments if they're renting.
Yes, and of course the new build are always, they're brighter, they're a more cheery place to spend your time. They're warmer, they're more comfortable, they're cooler in the summer months. So it's a no-brainer really to go for the new build rental property if you have a choice. Yeah,
but I think hopefully some of the properties we've shown today in terms of return investment and getting onto that market, if you don't have the sort of money to buy one of the newer build properties, could be an ideal way of putting together that holiday home or even that rental.
That's right, because if you're getting a rental income for the times that you're not using it, it goes a long way towards paying the mortgage that you have on it.
Yeah, I had a client the other day bought one of the ones, and he said all he wanted to do was to cover his community fee and his mortgage.
He'd do that quite easily, I think.
And
There wouldn't be a problem with that.
In reality, do that quite easy. One of the things I didn't mention also, if anybody wants a mortgage quotation, we do have brokers that are independent of us. We are able to get you quotations for mortgages, even an offer on a mortgage prior to visiting Spain. We do recommend that's a good way of starting out, by talking to the mortgage company through us and finding out how much money you can basically loan against a mortgage prior to coming over. Jesse, pandemic for both you guys in our area. I know that we have some of the lowest infection areas in Spain currently. And is there any different in a lifestyle at the moment in this area?
Except for wearing the mask every time you're out, when you're walking about or when you go to the shops. Other than that, life goes on as normal, because you have to remember that in Spain, we tend to live outdoors quite a lot. Even dining out, it's very comfortable, completely different to the rain coming down in Ireland when you're trying to eat outdoors.
I'm looking out the window. It's about 25 today, and I can see the sun shining.
So it's still very nice, and it's not really busy here at the moment, but you can still go places where it's very comfortable. So distancing is all carried out. So yes, it feels very safe here, very safe.
Okay, just to answer a question here from Terry, on all of the developments we've shown today, they all have pools and gym facilities, mainly in the hotel in the case of the Menor, Hacienda de Alamo in the sports centre. They all have gyms by default. So yes, they're already built on. It's a standard feature on many of the golf resorts currently. Okay, well, I think that's, I'm told on, we got another, let me just finish off. There is another question coming through. Management fees, yeah. Typically, if you are taking on a property management company on one of these properties, you'll pay around about €300 a year for your management. That would cover you for meet and greets. That would cover you for making sure they check the property on a regular basis. And then if they're renting the property out for you, they would normally charge 10% commission on any rentals they get for you. Please remember, however, nowadays for renting in Spain, you do have to have a license. And again, we can assist you with obtaining that rental license through the lawyer. So it's around about 400 a year, 300 to 400 a year to cover you for all of your management fees. Well, that's it. I think we're done with all the questions. Again, thank you for my panelists for giving up their time for the weekend. Thank you for those that joined us down the webinar. It only needs to say thank you from us, and goodbye from us on the panel, and goodbye from sunny Spain. We hope to see you here very soon.
Bye.
Bye.